Before we begin, I need to address something urgent. This weekend I'm going to see Machine Gun Kelly and I have nothing to wear, which is dramatic because technically I own clothes. But in my mind, none of them are I'm effortlessly cool at a concert clothes. So I probably will end up in what I always end up in, a black t-shirt and jeans, which is fine, it's safe, it's mask, it's reliable. It basically says I didn't try too hard, which is my entire personality. But here's the thing. I've been going to the gym an unreasonable amount this week, not for strength, not for health, just for Saturday, for the possibility that I might look marginally leaner in a dim-lit venue next to people who dress like they were styled by a Pinterest board called Alt Rockstar Apocalypse. And I know where this is coming from, social media, because every time I open an app, I see someone perfectly styled, perfectly layered, perfectly accessorised, hair textured like they've just woke up inside a photo shoot, and I'm there like, I own 3 pairs of jeans and emotional resilience. I'm a masked lesbian. My fashion formula is a black top, structured jacket, weather permitting, trainers, and then I just repeat that. And yet I scroll through TikTok and suddenly I'm questioning my entire silhouette. This is exactly what today's episode is about. Social media, a subtle, persistent pressure to become a more consumable version of yourself. Now that we've established I will, in fact, be wearing a black t-shirt, hello, welcome back to Leave Me Alone, that antisocial podcast. Last episode, I talked about leaving the noise behind, choosing peace, protecting my energy, becoming intentionally unavailable. But 3 months ago, I downloaded TikTok to promote this podcast, so naturally, I live there now. Downloaded the app to understand it. The app downloaded me back. And what started as research has become a behavioural study, and the subject is me, and the findings are concerning. Somewhere along the way, I accidentally created a small digital cult. I did not apply for the leadership. There was no ceremony. There was only an algorithm and a prolonged eye contact with a front-facing camera. So yeah, today's episode is about social media, attention, addiction, identity, body image, and style pressure, and why the thing I claim to dislike is the thing that I keep opening. This isn't a warning, this is a field report. I want to clarify something important. I don't like social media. I don't enjoy being perceived. I don't enjoy performing normal human reactions for strangers. And yet, I now speak to my phone like it's a mildly judgmental colleague. I told myself I would post occasionally, low commitment, observational distance. Within a week, I had analytics. Nothing says you are fully involved now, like a graph showing when strangers prefer your face. And I also learned some new words. Engagement, reach, retention, and watch time. These are not words about connection. These are words about attention capture. Attention is not the same as interest. It is proximity without consent. At some point, people started returning. They remembered things I said. They referenced past videos. They used shared language. Then, this is when I realised something had formed. Not a community, a collective mood. I didn't create followers. I gathered witnesses. They arrived, they observe, they relate quietly, they leave without small talk. It is the most effective group dynamic I've ever been a part of. I do believe I accidentally created a support group for people who do not want support groups. If this is a cult, it's extremely low energy. No meetings, no chanting, just shared overstimulation and mutual avoidance. Leadership responsibilities appear to include posting occasionally, being honest, not smiling excessively. I can manage this. Here's the interesting part. I don't feel pleasure using the app, I don't feel restored, and I don't feel connected. And yet, I open it automatically. And this is where it links back to the gym and the outfit and the black t-shirt crisis, because it's not just scrolling, it's exposure. Exposure to curated bodies, curated outfits, curated confidence. And even if you logically know it's edited, filtered, angled, selected, your nervous system still absorbs it as comparison data. Social media uses the variable reward system. You never know what you'll see next. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's meaningless, sometimes it's upsetting. Slot machines use the same principle. Your brain releases dopamine, not when you feel happy, but when something might happen. So you scroll, not because you want something to happen, but because something could appear. Maybe inspiration, maybe validation, maybe a new insecurity. It's stimulation without satisfaction, consumption without completion. It feels productive because you're processing information, but processing isn't progress. It's like eating crisps for emotional nutrition. You're occupied, you're not nourished. Your nervous system was not built for constant input. In the past, simulation had context. Now it just has volume. You observe news, opinions, humour, outrage, advice, beauty standards, concert outfits, gym routines, and life updates, all in one sitting. Your brain doesn't sort content by relevance, it sorts it by intensity. So when you see a perfectly styled 22-year-old in platform boots and layered chains heading to the same concert, my brain doesn't say, this is just one aesthetic. It says, adjust immediately. That creates a low-level alert state. You're not in danger, but you're never fully settled. And that leads to three things. Attention fragmentation. Your focus gets swallowed because it's constantly interrupted. Emotional comparison. You measure your inner world against someone else's highlight reel. Performed identity. You become aware of how you appear instead of how you feel. You're not living, you're monitoring. I left loud rooms full of people to sit alone in a quiet room full of people. Social media encourages you to become a version of yourself that's easy to recognise. Consistency boosts engagement. So you simplify, you become the calm one, the funny one, the insightful one, the struggling one, or the mask one with minimal wardrobe. You're rewarded for being consistent, but real people aren't consistent. So a quiet pressure builds, stay recognisable, and at some point, expression turns into maintenance. You're not asking, what do I want to say? You're asking, what version of me do they expect? Or worse, what version of me performs best? And that's when the gym before Saturday logic starts to feel less about health and more about visibility. That's performance disguised as authenticity. Now let's talk about the irony. The contradictions are impressive. I value privacy. I narrate my own thoughts publicly. I prioritise peace, but I can't stop checking notifications. I protect my energy, but I read comments at midnight. I don't care what people wear, but I panic about my own black t-shirt. I wanted to be left alone, so I started broadcasting. This is not hypocrisy. This is modern participation. The environment rewards visibility. The nervous system prefers silence. The individual negotiates poorly. Now here's what I've learned. I'm not here to declare social media good or bad. I'm here to report patterns. And here is what I've observed personally. The urge to check is not a decision, it's a sensation. Exposure to many curated bodies shifts how you see your own. Exposure to many styled lives reduces satisfaction with your own pace. Silence feels unfamiliar after constant input, and awareness does not eliminate habit, it just adds commentary. Most importantly, you can like who you are and still feel temporarily inadequate after 5 minutes of scrolling. But again, that does not mean you're weak. It just means you're human. Believe in boundaries. Obviously, as I talk about them a lot, I don't always demonstrate them. However, these principles appear helpful. Notice when you open the app without intention. Notice when you start comparing. Ask yourself whether the pressure you feel exists before the scroll. And protect the first and last hour of your day. And most importantly, wear the black t-shirt anyway. Peace is not dramatic. It is repetitive and quiet. Anyway, this weekend, I will be attending a concert in jeans, in a black t-shirt, with a gym including delusion. And I will likely realise that no one is analysing me as closely as I analyse myself, which is the final illusion social media sells, that everyone is watching. Most people are too busy monitoring themselves. I joined social media reluctantly. I stayed out of curiosity, and I continued out of habit. If you found me on there, thank you for participating in the unplanned experiment. If you haven't joined, remain where you are, it is quieter. This podcast is about energy, awareness, and the strange process of becoming intentional in a world designed for reaction. Sometimes being left alone is alignment. Sometimes being left alone requires putting the phone down. I will update you if that occurs. Thank you for listening to Leave Me Alone, the antisocial podcast. Until next time, protect your attention. It is being requested constantly. Goodbye.